Hi everyone. Today I am going to talk about one of my favourite cosmetic procedures, but it's also a completely superfluous one, and that is having Botox in my armpits, which is something you may have heard about, but in case you haven't, I will quickly explain this is not a beautifying procedure, but it is a very practical one. So, Botox is usually used for relaxing wrinkles in the face by reducing the ability of the face muscles to contract. And it can also be used to stop the sweat glands from sweating. And that is done by injecting it very superficially just under the skin around the sweat glands. And what it does is it blocks the nerve impulse that's telling the sweat gland to sweat. And it sounds like one of those "why would you" procedures, but it's a medically approved treatment for people who have a condition called hyperhidrosis, which is basically excessive sweating. And you can do it in the armpits and the forehead or even in the palms of the hands. A bit painful, but you can. I've also been told over the years it's a really popular procedure with men, particularly with city big shots who want to look cool even when they're under pressure and they don't want to have those armpit pizzas of sweat you get when you're sweating too much. And why do I like it? I mean, I'm not an excessively sweaty person, but I do sweat a lot when I'm nervous or under pressure, and that's more at the time than you might think, like phone calls. Goodness knows why I find them so stressful. But the best thing about armpit Botox is it takes minutes and it lasts for months. And I've got a video coming up where I'm having this done with a great cosmetic doctor called Bruno Amendola. And you'll see just how quick it is. The effects kick in after a week, and then, well, you just don't sweat, which is massively convenient. No sweat, no damp patches, no smell. Obviously, it's quite an expensive way to have the massive ease and convenience of not sweating. And why it's expensive is because it takes about 100 units of Botox to do your armpits. That's probably 50 each side, whereas if you're doing a face, you probably only need 20 max units between your glabella lines here, or 10 each side when it comes to doing a crow's feet. So it costs about from £600 for this. And one thing people always do ask or say is, surely this isn't good for you to block the sweat glands, it can't be that healthy. But there are so many sweat glands all over the body that disabling the ones around the armpit still leaves a great many of them free to sweat, working away as normal. It's not going to stop your body from cooling itself by sweating, and you're not blocking the sweat glands with sticky antiperspirants, you're just disabling them temporarily. So that's what it is, and now I've got a short video coming up that shows the actual treatment, and yes, there is a needle at work in that. So if you don't want to see the injections, now is the time to switch off, and thank you for watching. Okay, so
like a small system.
Yeah, small system there. So I'm here with Dr Bruno Amendola. So if you can say hi to the camera.
Hello, hi.
We're going to do a spot of Botox in the armpits. Well, he's going to do a spot of Botox in the armpits. And yeah, there is a little cyst in there, but I don't think it's a problem of any sort.
No, it's not a problem. No. We will avoid it. Okay. Easy procedure.
So you've got the Botox in the syringe. I've got no anaesthetic in my armpit because these are such small, tiny pinpricks of injections that...
So we've used allergan Botox. We dilute it with 4 ml of saline solution.
And you say you can use Emla cream if people find it very uncomfortable, can't you? But it's easier not to.
It's easier.
I mean, these are really tiny pinpricks. It's almost like you're just pressing it onto the skin. It hardly feels like it's going through.
It needs to be very superficial.
Yeah. And you're working into the sort of around the edge of the armpit, because that's where the sweat glands are.
Yes, I usually try to cover all the area.
Okay.
As we all have different points. Some patients might sweat more on the top, some patients more underneath, so it's important to try to cover.
I seem to sweat around the sort of edges of the area, or I notice it at the top and the bottom. But that probably is just because I'm not feeling it so much in the middle.
So we'll try to cover the full area.
And what the Botox does in the
armpit is interfere with the impulse that tells the nerve,
Yes.
the nerve impulse that tells the sweat to sweat. Is that
Yes, by
roughly?
blocking, yes,
Yeah.
the interaction between the nerves and the glands, the sweating glands. Perfect. Usually one session is enough,
Yeah.
but some patients might require a small top-up.
Okay.
Hopefully not.
I find
So
when
we're
I've
done with one side.
had it in the past, it's only ever
Most of the patients
taken one
require, yes,
session.
one
Yeah.
session will be enough. So as you can see, it's very quick
Yeah.
and not painful.
Super quick. And then it lasts for 5 or 6 months, depending on the patient.
Yes,
you
some
find.
patients come back once a year, some patients every 6 months. It also depends on lifestyle.
Okay,
You know, if you
sure.
sweat a lot, I have patients that do
Yeah.
go for Bikram yoga
Ah, yes.
twice a week, so they have to come back every 3 months because they sweat.
Oh, really?
They sweat it
I
very
do
quickly. Yeah?
hot yoga,
If you
but
do hot
it's
yoga,
not as hot
yes.
as Bikram. But yeah, there's a lot of sweating. So that might be.
It's not hot yoga same as Bikram.
It's hot, but 30 to 35 degrees. Bikram's 40 to 45.
Ah, okay. I
I
didn't
only,
know about that option.
I only once went for Bikram, and I I got hot flushes
Yeah, me too.
on the hour, every hour, for 6 weeks afterwards. It was terrifying. I didn't go back. But normal hot yoga,
Perfect.
I find, is fine. So that's so quick.
So that's all done.
Amazing. So then there's just that
We
little
just apply
series
a
of
little bit
bumps.
gauze on both sides, and
Okay.
that's it.
Fantastic.
And that will take, usually takes 1 week.
That's like
to,
3 minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, it takes 1 week to kick
It
in.
usually takes
Yeah.
1 week to kick in.
Mm.
Shall we put it gauze on the other side now?
Lovely. Hang on.
Okay, so that's armpit Botox, and as Dr Amendola says in that clip, it kicks in after a few days. I think it takes less than a week, and then it lasts for months, and I can't claim it's vital or necessary, but I have to confess I really like it.